Hello and welcome back to the Innsmouth Case with me, Bardon. Okay, last time the game really didn't disappoint. We got to be Yeats, live on another world as some kind of crazy slug being for a number of years before returning to our own body and finding out that Yeat actually did a better job being us than we did. Okay, now we are going to load a chapter. Oh no, I didn't want it to be the beach, so let's go back to the main menu. So I want to go back to the church. So where is it? City Harbour. So you have to go from the harbour, I guess. Right? Yeah. So we're going to go from the harbour to the church. Innsmouth Harbour's signpost is much better than the local hospital. You wonder if the hospital is even needed here. It's a half-hour walk. A mile-long carpet of cobblestones is now ahead of you. The traffic in Boston is more hectic, but at least they have heard of asphalt before. As you keep walking, there are fewer and fewer residential buildings along your path. In their stead, there are now warehouses that must be fish markets due to the smell. You can also hear the occasional metallic clanking from nearby workshops. People in grey raincoats are walking towards you. They're probably fishermen who have some errand to run. Now and again, in that split second when you pass one another, you catch a glimpse of their face hidden under the hoods. Puffy eyes that look at you suspiciously. Although there are few clouds in the sky, there's no chance of rain as far as you can tell. Why are they all wrapped up like that? You wonder if they have a sixth sense for approaching storms. The sound of the rhythmic blows of a hammer nearby tears you away from these thoughts. It would be interesting to watch the work in the shipyard, but little Tabitha is unlikely to be here to play. From a distance you can already see the masts of the boats, which rise up into the sky like a row of spears. You walk along a small street at the quay, with the harbour basin just behind it. Let's look around. The view of the harbour is splendid. Boats of all shapes and sizes are coming and going. Nets are being emptied out and fish seem to be endlessly splashing into huge freezer boxes. Local trades are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of a wide headland, a huge lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. The ideal postcard motif if it weren't for the people. You only know fishermen from the movies, and you have to admit that you have certain prejudices. These include they have weather-beaten skin, and the captains always have well-groomed beards. They are either strong, silent types or hard-drinking lads who sing filthy sea shanties. But these creatures in front of you are neither majestic nor leery. They move around more like tragic hunchbacks you'd expect to see in French cathedrals. A few yards to the right, there's a fork in the road and a road sign pointing further north. Its inscription reads, Innsmouth Paradise Beach. In the far distance, you can see a building that looks like a church. Hang on, a church? On the coast? How eccentric. You go, well, we want to go to the church. The church is located on a hill overlooking the harbour. You're immediately drawn towards it. You stroll along the docks towards the cliffs. You take in the pleasant sea breeze and hustle and bustle on the ships. Your original mission pops into your mind. This place is so relaxing. It's just too easy to forget about the little girl. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see three fishermen whose boat has just moored. They're not working, in fact. They're not doing anything. They're just standing there staring at you. That feeling of serenity is slowly overtaken by anxiety. Let's speed up our pace. You speed up your pace. All of a sudden it feels as if you've got a big target on your trench coat. It's difficult, but you manage to swallow the provocative comments that you'd have liked to hurl at the fishermen, and instead try to act more discreetly. After a few yards you turn round. They're all gone. The crew must have disappeared below deck in their little boat. What a strange bunch. Suddenly it's utterly plausible to you that people in this town can disappear just like that. You look closer to the church building now, and you're relieved to find that there are a few dozen people outside its gates. And not the usual creepy Innsmouth kind. The group are gesticulating and discussing something in a very animated manner. Normal people. As you reach the courtyard, you're able to assess the situation a little better. Two groups of about the same number of people are confronting one another, surrounded by a few more reserved onlookers. Two shouty people who appear to be the representatives of two camps are facing each other. A bronze plaque is displayed above the gates to the entrance. Engraved on it is Esoteric Order of Dagon. Let's join the crowd, because this is why we're here. You walk up to the crowd, you peek over the shoulders of the stocky figures in front of you, who are listening to the two men, and occasionally nod and mumble words of dissent. One of the two squabblers, a weather-beaten man with bulging eyes, is just about to launch into the finale of his speech. And therefore Dagon is the one God who created us in his own image, and his son is Owen Marsh, who came to earth as man, and he is Dagon himself, because we... No, his counterpart interrupts. He's a bearded professor type, dressed in grey wool sweater, who highlights every word with an aggressive jab of the pipe in his hand. Dagon is the creator of the world, but he is above us. He has no children, or nothing even close to this kind of thing. Even saying this is heresy. It's in the writings of his prophet, Abdul al-Hazred. With a scrunch of face and a high-pitched voice, the sailor repeats these last words. Abdul al-Hazred? What a load of horse dung. The crowd is now on fire, their fists are raised, and there's crackling tension between the onlookers. Oh yeah? And the whole Obed Marsh was born by Immaculate Conception when Marianne Marsh was bathing in the sea? Story? What do you call that? She was blessed there to receive Obed, and you know it, the bug-eyed sailor shouts out, no longer trying to contain his anger. You know it, he adds, hissing quietly. Oh, sorry, you should have hissed that quietly. You know it. The ongoing murmur of the crowd is occasionally drowned out by the heavy breathing of the two main speakers. The crowd is up in arms. Let's get involved. You decide that it's a good idea to get involved in religiously motivated arguments. You push your way through the ranks of the gawkers and clear your throat loudly. The two men turn to you, as does everyone else present. You're examined for a few seconds, and judging by the disparaging looks, the collective have quickly come to an unanimous verdict. You are not welcome here. I can help you. I can help you, you promise. Ever the optimist. Oh yeah, how exactly? The fisherman grunts at you. I don't recall seeing you at any of the theological study groups of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. His opponent agrees. Exactly. And I've also never seen you at the bingo. You can hear people agreeing on both sides of the conflict. Not only do they think this is a good idea to get... Not only do you think that it is a good idea to get involved in religiously motivated arguments, you also think that it's a good idea to get involved without even having a hint of a clue of what's going on. It's poor life choices like this that have cost you a number of teeth during your various bar brawls. Fine, at least you've managed to unite them against you. The first step towards a solution, surely. I can help you if you explain to me what's going on. The face of the fisherman lights up. You immediately realise the grave tactical error you just made. You just asked religious nutter to explain his worldview to you. That might take a while. Now look, stranger. Here in this town, we are blessed with the knowledge of Dagon, the only true God. Almost immediately, your attention levels drop to zero. You remember your strange aunt, whose brain had been utterly mangled by esoteric nonsense and medical cannabis. You try to follow what he's saying. Your counterpart is rattling down all the sad conspiracy theory worldviews you have heard 100 times before on midnight radio shows and internet forums all around the world. Chakras, yeah, energy flows, sure. The great old ones, chemtrails, reptiloids, ley lines, ritual human sacrifices. The earth is hollow but also flat. Vaccinations cause autism, but magnets heal it. The moon landing could not have happened because there are malicious toad creatures on the moon, and the slaves from Leng are at war with cats. People on Earth should be made aware of these things, but the Build-A-Bear group is withholding the information at the behest of extraterrestrial polyps from the future. You clear your throat tentatively. Both sides take this as a signal that you've heard sufficient evidence. The professor takes the floor. So far I agree with my opponent, except for the small fact that everything he just said is bullshit. A blasphemy of the first order, only believed by idiots. Idiots like those of the esoteric order of Dagon. The fisherman is outraged. You godless smell fungus. I will smash your heretic face in. I dare you to try, you heathen liquor. Long live the Dagon order of the esoteric. The two men are being kept apart from one another by their respective supporters with great difficulty. Both shake their fists at each other. Try to intervene and stand in between them. You jump in to act as the human buffer between the two agitated parties. Hey, you shout. What's the point of this? The two men still look at each other, panting with excitement. You advise them to find a minority to unite. Turn to the teachings of their religion. Can't your religion help you with your conflict? That's what religions are for, right? To provide guidance in difficult moments? To desperate people or celebrities? Both fake groups pause for a moment. The furrowed expressions on their faces indicate genuine surprise. Our religion? They ask almost in unison. In the Shoggoth song 7:11, it is written that a child of Dagon must not harm his brother and sisters. Someone shouts from the crowd. It also says that you should throw your third-born child into the sea, and nobody does that. Silence. The Cthulhu chorals instruct us to slay anyone who saws the name of our god, someone murmurs to bridge the tense silence. That doesn't help us with our issue. Perhaps our guess is right, one of the two leaders shouts, his arms stretched out wide. The one agrees. Perhaps it takes a heathen outside to remind us that the answer to all our questions. Here he theatrically waves his green Bible up to the heavens, lie in the writings of Dagon and the writings of Al-Hazred, the other man quickly adds. It obviously takes the fisherman a lot of effort not to hit him over the head with his Bible. Instead, he takes a deep breath. Remarkable. Now, let's each consult our scriptures and see which one of us is right. The mob forms two reading groups and sits down on the uncomfortable floor in front of the church to study their Bibles. A few of the angry sailors, who were screaming loudly until just a few seconds ago, are suddenly in a terrible hurry. They apologize, children to look after, washing to be done. You are now standing on the church square undisturbed. So if I leave the churchyard doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to try to enter the church. I know I'm probably going to get stopped again, but we'll try. Oh, we actually got in this time. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to end that one there, and then next time we'll see what's going to happen in the church. So I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you are keeping safe out there. Hope the Christmas is good to you, having a good New Year and all that kind of stuff, and good things are going to come your way, and hope to see you in the future. Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button there on the right, or checking out some other videos here on the left. or perhaps you might even share with some friends.